Thank you for that. And now it's time for us to go within, to take that time out, to just be with that God that lives within each and every one of us. So take a few deep breaths and just let your shoulders drop. Make a little noise when that air comes back out. Let it go. Relax. So whatever chaos has been going on in your life this week, this morning, let it go. For it does not mean anything. For as we've come together here in that light and love, we can release and let go. And as you do, don't pick it back up. Let it go. Let it be. For as we go with Him today, that divine, that love and that light that is there, ask whatever you want, whatever your desire is, and listen. Open those ears and listen to that small voice within that will guide you in whatever way that you need to go. So as we go within, let's take another deep breath and just be. Now, let's come back from that unseen with the renewed heart that we have within each one of us as we release and let go. Every day is a new day, a new time to start over. With that joy in our hearts, we come back to go into our congregational blessings. So if you'll join me here and now in bringing all those names, friends, family, new acquaintances, here into this sanctuary right now. Speak their names aloud with me. And I'd like to bring our prayer box and all the names that are in the prayer box into the sanctuary here and now. For all of this, no matter what it is that we're asking for, health, prosperity, just to be happy, to be joyous, whatever it may be. Where two or more together, it is necessary as well. So if you'll confirm this with me, we know that all things are always in the right and perfect order. So speak your name aloud with me. Kathy. Thank you. And through the power and through the presence of that indwelling Christ Spirit, I say thank you, God. Worship song. Please stand if you'd like.
This is when I'd like to say, and you can lean back and put your feet up and just get comfortable. You know, when I woke up this morning, I looked around and I gave thanks for the sunshine that was shining through as light into my bedroom. I then gave thanks for this beautiful creature that was laying in bed next to me. And I start to thinking about what it is that we truly see and how we see it. When I was a young college student, in one of my classes, the teacher had an interaction down front where a girl was standing up and a guy came running down the side wall of the classroom and started yelling and screaming at her. And they had an altercation, and then they grabbed her and he hauled her out of the room.
Oh, no!
That's just about what I said. Oh, no. And the teacher then turned to us and said, write down what you saw. And everybody wrote down what they had viewed. And at the end, when everybody had written down what they had seen, it was like different events. 30 people in the class, and there were 30 different events. Now, there's some things that were similar, but even the clothes coloring was different. Some people saw him in blue jacket. Some saw him in a black jacket. Some saw her in a dress. Some saw her in a skirt and blouse. Some thought she was a blonde. Some thought she was a brunette. You know, some thought the words were a little more hardcore than they were. And you know, research says that only 70% do we have as accuracy in our own memory. That when we're asked to remember something, we can only pretty much guarantee that 70% of it's accurate. So we think about, that's how we deal with the scene. That when we see things and we let that stimuli go through our eyes and go into our brain, well, what does that say for the unseen? The things we don't even see. I was reading a comment about a man in a workplace, and he came up to a lady and said, "Hi, how's it going today?" And she didn't mention anything. She just kept walking. And immediately he started thinking, "Oh, that stuck-up so-and-so. Oh, she doesn't like me anymore. What did I do to offend her? Gosh, you know, maybe I'm not the nice person I thought I was. They don't care about me." Rather than thinking, maybe she just didn't hear you. Our minds make up the gaps and fill in for the unseen. And the best we get out of the unseen are the outcomes. Are the outcomes of what we see. How many people know when they're angry and upset?
I do.
Okay, most of us. You know, but the only thing we actually see is maybe a hole in the wall or a broken dish. That's the outcome of our anger. That's not the anger. That's just the outcome. But we see things in our lives that are the outcome of that interaction. Maybe the damage we've done to a relationship. Maybe the corner we painted ourselves into through our own anger. Well, you know, if this is true for the difference between the unseen, how are we going to deal with it? How are we going to deal with what the unseen brings to us? Well, we have one thing that we're all taught, and that's faith. And that's the faith to understand who we truly are. And I'm going to give you 3 quotes from the Revealing Word that was written by Charles Fillmore. The first one is the faith in ourselves. The ground for man's faith in himself is the truth that he is the child of God, and as such, inherits the divine nature. Man should have faith in himself because he cannot be successful in any line without such faith. I mean, how many of us have heard that we can't get ahead unless we believe in ourselves? We can't be good at anything we're doing if we don't think we're being good at it. But that runs in conflict to what we teach here in Unity, doesn't it? In Unity, we teach, we already have everything. Just let it out. I'm already the best I can be. I'm already if I just let it be. But that's the unseen, isn't it? When we stop ourselves, when we hold ourselves short, when we don't do what we should be doing, when we don't relax, when we don't let go, when we don't allow that indwelling spirit to work through us. You know, it's really easy, and everybody in this room knows that we are the indwelling spirit. But it's a lot harder to let that indwelling spirit out because it's unseen. Because we don't know what it's going to look like. We don't know if our ego is big enough to do the work. Because that ego that we've been given is just that. It's what creates us and thinks we are who we are in reality. Sometimes not accurately. So when we're dealing with the unseen, we have to look at that faith that we have and allow it to guide us. One of my favorites is always the difference between the three faiths: trust, blind faith, and faith. And most of you know that trust is one of the weakest of the faiths. It's knowing that something is probably true. I trust in it. You know, like my car's going to start out there. I believe my car will start until I get out there and turn the key, and it goes click. Blind faith is an instinctive trust in a power higher than ourselves. Because blind faith does not understand the principles of being, it is liable to discouragement and disappointment. Because not everything we trust in is true. Not everything we even believe in is true. Well, then you're going to ask me the big question, aren't you? How do we know? How do we know what is true and what is not? I'm going to go back. That it's faith. That it's the indwelling spirit, the inner knowing. It's the belief. It is that oneness that we develop within ourselves through trial and error. One of my favorite requests was the monk. And the student of the monk comes up to the monk and says, "Monk, what am I here to learn?" And the monk thinks, meditates, and says, "You're here to make good decisions." "Oh, thank you, monk, thank you, monk." Comes back the next day and says, Monk, how do I make good decisions?" And the monk goes into meditation, prays over it, and says, "Through making bad ones." That's what we learn. If our life isn't working for ourselves, we choose again. If our world is not working, it is through our words and our visions that are holding us back. We choose again. We do something else. Because we're given that a power to do that. So faith, by definition, the perceiving power of the mind, linked with the power to shape substance. spiritual assurance, the power to do seemingly impossible. It is a magnetic power that draws unto us our heart's desire from the invisible spiritual realm. Faith is a deep inner knowing that what we sought is already ours, that we have been given. So then, faith is an action. Faith is something we have to do. But faith is something that we see as an outcome. What are the outcomes of faith? When we have faith, when we share, what are some of those outcomes? Well, the first one probably we could talk about is health. If I have faith that I am whole, perfect, and healthy, what will I be? Whole, perfect, and healthy. Regardless of what I see, because I have the faith. Another one of my favorites, prosperity. How does prosperity manifest? Through faith. I have all that I could ever ask for. It's already mine. I have everything I truly need. It's already mine. Or you're not having yours. Because I want you to have yours too. Whether it be a house, whether it be a car, whether it be friendship. Whatever prosperity it is you're looking for in your life, the unseen. It's the outcomes that we're looking for. One of my favorites, love. How do you see love manifesting in your life? Adam, saying hello. Being nice to the checker after they've messed up your order 3 times. It's difficult because in our lives we've been told time after time after time, let's get revenge, let's get mine. It just doesn't work that way. If we have the in-working feeling of faith within us, the outworking then becomes everything we desire. Not easy. You know, often when I was talking to people in their very first few times of meditating, and they said, well, how do you meditate? And I said, well, you hold a thought as long as you can. And a lot of times I would take a pencil and I'd hold it up and say, look at the eraser. And they look at the eraser and they'd look at me. You got it. Because that's what our mind want to do. They don't want to look at that eraser. Your mind always wants to fill in the blanks. It always wants to be your guiding light. And it's really difficult to move that ego mind and let it. So through meditation, it's practice. And do I think I'm going to do it right all the time? If I'm going to practice love all day today, and I'm going to be kind, and I'm going to be outgoing, and I'm going to be warm, give me 5 minutes, 10, 15, 20, give me an hour. Give me 2 hours. Well, it depends. How long have I been practicing this? 30. Some days I'd take 30. It's a matter of doing it. It becomes our intention, our practice. And knowing that it is not the goal. We can't be perfect. We're humans. We're on this life path. But if it's something I want, something I truly hold in faith, and it's worth working towards, I'll get better at it and better at it. And when I fail, I say, oh, choose again. Thank you, God, for letting me see that I'm not doing what I promised to do. And hold me that I can do better. And just doing it again. You know, it's like hitting the reset button on your computer. Click. Or is it all click delete? No, that's something else. It's a matter of knowing when we're not working towards the outcome we're looking for. And resetting. And just doing it again. And again. And again. And again. Until it becomes who we truly are. Still not 100% of the time. But more often than not. So let's look at what faith is and how we can apply it. The perceiving power of the mind. Well, what is the perceiving power of the mind? We can look over on our wall of powers and we can find imagination. When we can think it, when we can hold it and see what it is. And it's linked with the power to shape substance. Shape substance. That's the manifestation. How do we manifest in our own world? My hands, my feet, I walk the talk. If I want to make a dinner, how do I make dinner? I go to the refrigerator, I pull out ingredients, I probably should look at a menu and determine how to do it. And then I make it. Maybe cook it. Maybe put it in the refrigerator, set up. Stir it. That's what I'm going to do. We have the power to manifest in our own lives. And it all starts with our minds. Perceiving what we want. Setting the intention of how we want to move forward. And if it changes, we just start again. We said, well, that didn't work. You ever made anything that didn't turn out? Yeah. Probably everybody that cooks has done that. Does it mean that you never cooked again? No. It means that you just did it again. Maybe paid a little better attention. Maybe had more focus. Life. It's the same for love. It's the same for prosperity. It's the same for health. We just keep working on it. Spiritual assurance and the power to do seemingly impossible. If I was going to tell you that every cell of the body renewed itself, would you believe me?
Yes.
Absolutely, because there's science that proves it. If I hold up a quarter and tell you I'm going to drop it, where's it going to go? On the ground, because we know that there is gravitation. Gravity. We know it. Science has proved it. But we're dealing in things in faith, sometimes it hasn't been shown to us. Did you ever hear the speech that somebody said, how can I believe it to be true if I can't see it? That's where faith comes in. Because we don't see the unseen. We can't see those things that go on in our lives. We can just see the outcome. It is the magnetic power that draws unto us our heart's desire from the invisible spiritual substance. Where does everything exist? Out there. Faith is a deep inner knowing that that which is sought is already ours. That's probably the hardest part of faith, is to know it's already ours. If we want love, it's already ours. Just let it out. Use it. Share it. It's already ours. It brings those desires to us because we know that everything is already ours. We just have to claim it. Still Sunday morning. So this afternoon, I charge you to start seeing the unseen through faith, through how you do things, through your belief in the teachings of Jesus Christ, through your teachings that exist in you, to let go and let God be your path. God bless. Thank you.
We're going to read our consciousness statement together, our unity and ready conscious statement. And so with me, divine order is now manifesting in every phase of this ministry through its expanding prosperity, attendance, and by being a light on the path for others. And comes a time where we share our treasures with each other, and offering in your hands. And say together, we'll bless the offering. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Abundance.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. I think to myself, what a wonderful. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, a bright blessed day, a sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, also on the faces of people going by. I see them shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn so small, I'll never know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, also on the faces of people going by. I see them shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll learn so much more, I'll never know. Keys, how about a special arrangement for the author and the singer of that song? Could you give me just one line?
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Jimmy. Oh, Divine Spirit. We give thanks for the outpouring of levity in our lives. For as we enjoy ourselves, we enjoy those around us. We lift ourselves up for the highest and best, and we bless these offerings that have come forth to do the work in Unity Church in Reading. We hold that faith that we are one, linked to each other, and linked into the spirit of the earth. And so it is. Amen. Thank you, thank you. And now?
No.
Yes. Without further ado, it's the announcements. You know, that's right. Now, one of the first things I need to say is that I am Reverend Ken. I forgot to introduce myself when I started because I'm just so used to having Reverend Mary Grace do the opening, so I apologize for not introducing myself to those who may not know me. Anyway, the church will be open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 10 to 4, and Mary Grace will actually return. She'll be here back in the office. She has been in Galveston all week, enjoying a little renewal time. Also, after service today, if you'd like special prayer, you can see either Kathy or myself. And we have our prayer circle that is at 9:30 on Sunday mornings that meets in the prayer room. And Diana, you wanted to...
I just wanted to mention something. We've been working through a booklet, a Unity booklet, called The Many Forms of Prayer. And so we're almost finished with that. So how many have gotten this brochure from Unity that says the prayer for protection? Yeah, so anyway, it came in the mail and I thought, this is perfect. Because it is the prayer circle, and one of the little messages that was on it was making God personal. And that's really a mission of my own for myself. So, and I thought, oh, if it goes from that angle, this is going to be perfect. So, if any of you would like to join us, I've ordered 6 booklets. They're no charge. And just come and see me, or just hop in at 9:30 on Sundays.
And if you'd like one now before you go home, we can photocopy it. So if you want it to go with you. Also, make plans for joining with us in more fun at our August buyout. On August the 9th, we're going to see The Rainmaker, and that's going to be at the Riverfront Theater. So don't forget your tickets, and they're available now. We also have our Back to School Festival planning and assistance meeting. Talk to Mary Grace about that. And I'm going to meet it. The last time I'm going to comment about it is we have a suggestion box over on the table over there, and there's a little note on top of it that says suggestion box. So if you ever need to leave us a suggestion, that's the box to put it in. And we look forward to seeing you next Sunday. And if you're not able to be here in person, we are live on Facebook streaming, and then we go to YouTube a little later in the week. So you can always see the service and hear the wonderful music and hear the inspired word. If there is nothing else, let's move on to our closing song, and it will be the peace song. Oh, one other thing I didn't mention is we're going to have a class, Living Original class, starts next Sunday. So get your flyer for that if you'd like to stay after Sunday service. And now our closing of the prayer protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are,